nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Chester, I don't believe we have a public hearing scheduled. Is that
That is my understanding as well.
okay? So we have no public hearing tonight. Public comment. We have Bob Burke. Bob is here with Macon New Beginnings, and Bob's been with us before, and welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you all again and give you a little bit of update as to what's been going on with Macon New Beginnings. First of all, I would like to really emphasize how much of a pleasure and how humbling it is to serve the people in the community, and also to emphasize that that you have a very good reason for working for the community here. The people have been so very gracious in helping us out and help serve the homeless here in Macon County. Just a couple of tidbits of information I wanted to pass on to you. We had been in existence in April for a year, so 2015 to 16. In that year, we served 172 people. That includes men, women, children, and infants. Of those 172 people, 78 of them, including 30 children and infants, were actually homeless at the time. Our program deals with preventing homelessness, dealing with homelessness at that time, transitioning. We've added a backpack program now for the homeless. We're also serving food now. We partner with the Serving Spoon and have been doing that for several months now. In that time frame, we've had the opportunity to serve many different kinds of folks. Anybody who presents to us as being homeless or that's a tough one, in imminent danger of becoming homeless, we'll try to help them in some way. The churches in the area have stepped up tremendously. I can't name all the churches that have actually provided either time or funds or food or anything that they can, clothing. The community in general, businesses have stepped up. We just had a business recently give gift certificates for haircuts. So in any way that people can, they're stepping up and providing whatever services and whatever blessings they can. Truly, God is at work in the community and making miracles. One miracle I want to emphasize, we had a gentleman present himself to us on a Friday evening at 10 o'clock. By Saturday, 10 o'clock, he had a job, he had a place to stay, and he had food in his refrigerator in that place to stay. 24 hours later, or 12 hours later. The standard that HUD and many other communities, many other organizations say that should be done in 90 days. The community has really stepped up to the plate. We've had over 1,100 hours of volunteer time. Like I say, the churches have stepped up. Even governmental departments, DSS has been helping us. Meridian has been helping us. Appalachian Services. We've been working together and trying to find individuals that have behavioral issues or substance abuse issues, trying to help them find a place to stay. So all the communities, all the organizations have been really working together to help the homeless in this community. Like I said, we started working with the Serving Spoon recently. I guess back in September we started working with them. They serve a hot meal on Thursdays to anybody who wants to come in and have a meal. We've had anywhere from 9 people, and that was during one of the snowstorms we had this past year, to 54 people show up. So we pack the JC building down here many nights. Last Thursday we had 36 people show up. So many of them are repeat people who come by. And what I like to characterize it is, back in the 50s, people would sit down at the dinner table and just talk about their day and what's been going on and how their job's been. That's what we try to do with the people who show up. It's just to show that we're interested in what's going on in their lives. Again, with the serving spoon, there's been over $11,000 worth of donations in food and rent for the building and that sort of thing. So like I say, I keep on saying this, the community has really stepped up to help the homeless in this area. This coming year, I just want to emphasize a couple of things that we're working on as volunteers. Many people have asked how they can help. You gentlemen have a good rapport with the community and are out in the community constantly. Anybody who wants to volunteer to help serve either food or help with the homeless, help them find places, we're always looking for volunteers to help. Also this year we're working with more partnering with communities, with organizations in the community. CareNet with the changeover in their director, we're going to be looking to do different things with them. They have already helped out tremendously with regard to food and helping people get food. So we'll be reaching out a little bit more in partnering and volunteers this year. And once again, you all work for a wonderful community, and I'm proud to be part of it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate
One
it.
question, that's Thursday night, at what time, Bob, on the?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. at the
The JC building.
JC
Yeah.
building. And then secondly, just for curiosity, on any given day, how many active homeless people do you think we have in Macon County or in the vicinity of Franklin?
Last year, we sort of estimated 20. There had been point in time counts over the years. 18 seemed to be a number. Last year, the point in time count, which is just a random day that the government says we got to go out and count, there were 46 homeless people. And we went looking under bridges and parks, all sorts of things to try to find the homeless people. And we didn't cover everywhere. We didn't go up to Highlands to find out. We've had calls from people in Highlands looking for some help up there. We've had people over in Nantahala looking for help. We've had people from South Carolina looking for help. Unfortunately, we can't help everybody, and we have to turn those people away. We had Haywood Pathways call us up asking if we could help somebody that presented to them from South Carolina. So a lot of people know we're here now, and a lot of people working with us and trying to really address our challenge that we have.
Appreciate what you're doing, man.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it very much. That was all we had under public comment. Anybody else here to speak under public comment?
Just speaking of the community, Mr. Chairman, just to
Yes, sir.
remind you that we have about 300 world changers
We do.
in Macon County this week. If they're not at your church, they're at your church right now.
Yeah.
So they're doing a lot of work in our county on different projects. They're working with the housing program. You've never seen what world changers do. You've never been involved. A lot of young folks out there working. Day was the real first day. Nobody got hurt yet.
Yeah.
So, good day.
Big deal. We're feeding
So
the
it's a
love.
big deal. So they really help a lot of Maconians, and a lot of the churches are assisting. They have a service night at Holly Springs every night. So keep these young folks that come from different places to help our folks. A very special time.
Thank you, Commissioner Bill. Additions to the agenda, I've been made aware of a couple of things. Ms. Shields, you want me to add that? Would you like to speak to it?
And under new business, D, we could add D, the burn building, which is part of the Public Service Training Center at Macon, what do you call it, Industrial Park?
Yeah.
Industrial Park.
Yeah.
Industrial Park. I'd like to speak about the burn.
Okay. We'll make that 11D under new business.
Yes.
And Chester is, and I'll paraphrase Chester, we need to look at approving, I think the commissioners were given a copy of technology-enabled care coordination agreement, as well as a community care of North Carolina participation agreement from Patrick Beckencourt, our DSS director.
That is correct.
And that is to allow social service access to medical records and those type of things to serve.
Foster children.
Foster children.
For which they're serving as the legal custodians.
And I have discussed this with our attorney, and something we do need to do to give them that privilege to access that information. So we'll add that. Is there anything else we need to add to the agenda? Mike, did you have anything? That's anybody else, Ronnie? Paul? Okay, I would suggest that we approve the agenda, adding the Southwestern Burn Building as 11D and adding the DSS request for the coordination agreement and the participation agreement. I guess we did make that new business as well, Chester.
Yes, sir.
We'll make that 11E. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Agenda stands as amended. The first item we'll take, do we have any reports and presentations? I do not have any listed, Mike. I don't think we do. Under old business, this is actually, as it states, is old business. Gentlemen, you have that in front of you. We actually approved this last meeting. It was the match, the 5% match, you will recall, for the North Carolina Department of Commerce Building Reuse Grant. That did not make this current cycle, but it will come up at the, I think it's the August.
That was my understanding.
Yeah, it's, we have a meeting in August, and it will be on that agenda. And, but we need to approve the resolution in front of you, and feel free to take a look through that. It's fairly short. It just,
These are
basically,
the items that your Commerce Department would require from the county
and
in order to be able to approve it at the state level.
and you'll require, the process was, we had to vote last time to say, hey, yes, we will match the grant. The application's been made. This is a resolution that says in writing and authorized me by signature to say that we will match this grant by 5% from the county. So I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution. And those funds were to come out of contingency, Lori?
5% match.
The
I
five-
don't think, when was our last meeting talking about this? Was it June?
It was a June meeting.
So I don't think we really
But the money,
appropriated the match yet.
because the money won't come out
Till the
till
new
August
year.
or
That's what it
September.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Will it be good, okay to wait till our August meeting to actually appropriate it, or do we need to go ahead and do it now?
This is just a resolution. that
This
we
is just a
support.
resolution.
And support, so.
Okay. All right, with that said, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Make a motion resolution be approved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Shields, second by Beal. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Mike, make sure and put that on our August agenda to allocate that money. It'll either be August or September. I'm not sure when that meeting is. We'll probably need to do it after it's approved. Is that right, Lori? Because we won't have anything to allocate the money to. If
Yeah,
it-
because we'll have to amend the budget for the grant amount plus the match. if
Right,
that
it's
grant
about
flows
$9,000,
through us.
$9,000. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. That's all under old business. Under new business, release of uncollectible motor vehicle taxes prior to North Carolina Tax and Tag Together System. Mr. Richard Leitner.
Board, hopefully this will be the last time you see motor vehicles. This is all prior to the tax and tag program. And we turned it over to collection agencies, we attached refund checks if we could find them and all that. And amounts to anywhere from 0.08, which is about 1/10 of 1,000%, to about 2.5% the collection rate. You never get 100% collection rate on motor vehicles. The new tax and tag, you're running close to 99%, but for different reasons, people will trade cars or not tag it the next year, so some drop off and that. These here are when we took the registration from DMV 4 months after you registered, and then we tried to find you, because in 4 months you could go back to Texas or wherever, or you could move out of state. You could have sold the car, junked the car, and then, or if you sold it out of state, you wouldn't have got a tag. You could have sold it in state and switched your tags. So we tried everything we can to collect it, and this is the final of those. And we tried to do it over a number of period of years, so there's more than 1 year. We could have come up here every year, but we worked on trying to get as much over a period of time, especially last 2 years, trying to see how much the tax and tag would force people because there was a little overlap there that people did come in. But now, after spending time with a collection agency, turning in the credit report, that's what we have left. So it's uncollectible debt, and the procedure, I think, is outlined in Teresa's letter to you, and we just need the board approval.
This is that one area where the tax doesn't constitute a lien on any real property, so your real collection ability is just not there.
Zero.
It's just
Get
not
it,
there.
get it off the books.
Right.
And like I said, it's not a huge amount. It's relatively low for personal property, but we still need the processor to always be there. And we also run in trouble with some of the audit reports. I think if we got them on there longer than 10 years, auditors don't like mix match, and we got to put them back on. You can't collect them after 10 years, and so there's a lot of reasons why.
Your new system eliminates a very large part
About
of
all
those issues.
Amount?
the amount, it's a total of 98,000 plus, but that includes every year from '08, which was $25, to 2014, which is 48. You can see we collected the old, and as the new tag system went in, it basically wiped it all out again. And it goes from 13 to 24 in the mid-years.
So that's out of 25 million a year.
About 2.5% a year,
Yeah.
on average.
I think the statute requires good faith effort to try to collect it. And I think Mr. Leitner and his office have made those good faith efforts, is my understanding. Yeah.
But you can't spend $2 to collect one.
Well, we're actually spending more than that if the collection agency collects it.
True.
I mean, they get 25% or something like
I think
that.
that was one of the
55.
first things I did when I started doing some work for the county, was work with Richard to get a collection agency working on some of this.
And we cleaned them up, but we're at the end of the road now, unless we just go knock on doors and, good job.
Well, I used to own a collection agency.
Yeah.
That comes a point. Based on your professionalism and your attempts to collect this and your recommendation and statement they're uncollectible, I make a motion that we write these off.
You have a second? Motion second for release of uncollectible motor vehicle taxes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
One thing I do like to bring up, you've probably already seen it in your reports, but we just finished the 2015 tax year, and our collection rate went up to 98.18, which is the highest ever. That's on real estate. So we tried to hit 98.5, and we got close, but that's an improvement of about, 0.6% or something. So the girls in the tax office, Teresa and her staff, we've really been working. We've had we got rid of most of Watauga Vista. Still, in our size, it probably is. And you'll see reports where people get 99.8.
Not true.
And I won't say how they do it, but they do it. It's not the way the rate should be figured.
They're scrubbing the books early.
Went down to Livingston Salt.
Yeah. But anyway, it is extremely good that we improved. In 2 years, we went from 97.2 to 98.1, so.
It's created some interesting remarks from taxpayers.
Yeah, like I said,
But it's
it's
fair.
getting tough. It's getting tougher to make money in, the appraisal side. So you have to make sure you get what you bill.
Thank you, Richard, for a
Thank
good
you
job,
for it.
as always.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a couple of grant project ordinances. Lori, first one's a weatherization assistance program. I think commissioners have a copy of that, contract 6940.
Yes. This is just our annual appropriation from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, Division of Energy, Mineral and Land Resources. This year, we're getting $171,357. So this is just approving the project ordinance so that the housing department can begin spending the funds.
Mr. Chairman, as liaison of the housing department, we need every dime and more. So I make a motion to approve.
Motion second, in discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. The second one, grant project ordinance 2016 urgent repair program. Lori?
Again, this is for the housing department. This money comes from the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency, and we're receiving $100,000 again, so.
Same purpose, same
Same
reason, I make
purpose,
the
same
motion.
With a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, that motion passes. Item D, which was added, the burn building at SCC. We did, gentlemen, discuss that at our last meeting, and Commissioner Shields informed us that your board would need to make that recommendation before we acted on it and that kind of thing, so he's come back to the board for that discussion tonight. So, Gary?
I believe I had an opportunity to talk with Dr. Thomas and Curtis and Travis the other day, and appreciate y'all being here. Help me with my memory. Back in May, when we had our last board meeting, I believe at the end of the board meeting, we made a decision to support a scenario here if the Jackson County sales tax vote went through. And
I think that's correct.
and I believe that's what they presented to you the last time. And so, since those, and then Connect North Carolina played a part in this too. I guess the last Thursday, I believe, Dr. Thomas, Curtis, and Travis, along with Mr. Kluwer, Jeff Kluwer, who's also a board member, trustee board member at Southwestern. Mr. Bell was the chairman. Mr. Gillespie is a trustee member there. We all met out at the Burn Center. We met in Curtis's office first, and we talked about this spending scenario, about what it would cost for the burn building. And Dr. Thomas presented with us with some information here. The burn building, the estimated cost of $1.9 million. And the county match for that would be $475,000. And also, there was another project there without any kind of county match, which was which was a $300,000 paving for the driving course range. And we all looked at this and we talked about it. Then we had an opportunity to go down to the burn building, and I guess that's where my serious shoes got on when I saw what was going on there. Mr. Daddle informed me at that time that last December, January, that when the floodwaters came through, I think that building vertically stands 35 or 40 feet. A fifth of that building vertically was underwater. And then they showed me the water line, and I stood there, and it was a foot above my head. And so we kept talking, and we talked about a lot of different things. But really, we came back to the problem of the site. You could put a Taj Mahal there if you want to, but the site is not an appropriate site. And so if we ever move beyond and we start thinking about really building a new facility, burn building, that is, in my opinion, I'll put it that way, in my opinion, is not the site. Every report I've read talks about the flooding. They showed me where the debris had come through, knocked chips out of the corner of the building, tanks that had gone through, and I looked at this burn building. It was 3 stories high, and I said, well, how many people do you operate here? Is this just one of these things they do it every once in a while? They got 440 volunteer firemen here in Macon County. Each fireman, in order to maintain your certification, has to go through this building. So taking it out of the picture really is not an option. If you take that program out of this picture, then you're going to destroy the volunteer fire departments in Macon County, trying to maintain the number there. If we took, and also with that, if they have to have 18 hours, we also looked at what our service, SCC service region is. There's probably over 1,000 people, volunteer firemen, who use that building annually. And if you look at that, they got to have 18 hours. You're talking about 18,000 hours that building's in use annually, correct? And so with looking at that, we begin to talk about what are things that are available to us. And we talked about, we'd already had a kind of an understanding of our Macon County Southwestern campus, where we'd like to move some areas over there to move the public training center over to there. But we kept coming back that this site is just not conducive to a building due to the thing. So I think as we move through this thing, the site should definitely be something we look at when the engineers and stuff want to talk about this. I took the opportunity, Dr. Thomas allowed me to, I looked at some surveys, December 2012, and my curiosity is to see how things have changed. Things haven't changed, they've got worse. And I'm interested in seeing if we get another engineer group to come in to see what they say and compare my notes here. Here in this survey here, the engineering group that came in, they talked about the vertical cracks, they talked about the spalling, delaminating. There's a lot of visual things you can go to the building and see. And I'm really concerned about the deterioration of the structure. Then I had the opportunity to look at the second survey. I believe it's W. Travis, in 2015. And some of the things that you brought out there in this, you talked about it being prone to seasonal flooding, that you'd had to close the facility down 5 times within the last year due to flooding. You lost 8 weeks in closure time for this, and that puts a strain on a lot of your training. Also, we're one of the, I guess I can say in North Carolina, we're one of the North Carolina Department of Insurance. That building is certified for training. And we don't want to lose that. But then again, we don't want to have something that's deteriorated to the point that it becomes a danger to the firemen. I looked there to see if there was anything. They had a number of statements in these things about the structure of the building. I don't think it's going to fall down tomorrow, but I don't think it's healthy. I think it has a disease. And I think we'd be negligent if we don't look at this thing a little bit more serious. And my feeling was to get this back on the table to talk about it. I understand we may have another engineer for different opinion. I just like for us to do it quickly. I just like to see something. On this third survey here, when it talked about, and that was in April 2015, which is just about 2 or 3 months to the one that Travis did, another group came in and did this one. And with this one, they had a suggestion or a recommendation regarding, we talked about the last time, spending $29,700 in order to do, I'm about to say patchwork, and I don't want to say that, but to to the building.
Renovation.
There you go. And, but then again, I think you could spend all the money you want to down there, but the site is the problem. And I think if you put in a new building down there, with time, the site's gonna have the building would have the same problem with this site. When I look at things like the recommendation that this engineering group did, they said, at this time, we recommend some immediate measures to help ensure the safety of the occupants of the building. That gets my attention. When you talk about volunteers coming in and working, I think we have a duty to provide them with a safe environment to work and carry out the duties. It's hazard enough to work out here on the fire calls and those type of things. Again, I ask those three to come tonight to say anything that they wanted to say. I'd just like to get it back in the conversation piece. And if there's any way possible to get another engineering group to look at it, I'd sure like to compare what they say to this engineering group. And I hope within our wisdom that we will view that site as a negative site for a building, due to it being in the floodplain, due to all of the hazards that it works there. Can you speak to that, Travis? You're courtesy the one about what happens there during your floods?
Yes, absolutely. The one thing that we realized, that it's been going on for many years now, is being in the floodplains there, certain times of year, we get floods that come through there, tear down the fence, and we used to get a lot of debris from the ball fields up there, or the telephone poles that they used to, kind of the parking buses, come down and do torpedoes, and hit the building, things like that. We would drag them back up to the ball field. They finally tied those down. There's other debris from upriver that's come down toward the where the flooding is. We have a small storage building up there. And it's been several years back, we got up a couple of feet into that. And that was, I think, Peach Creek time frame when it was up in there. So this time, it gets up to what Commissioner Shields talked about, the height of that burn room at the bottom, where it's close to the ceiling down there. And once it empties out, we try to get it to dry out for several days before we go in and start cleaning. And it puts a lot of downtime on that too. There's also a pump down there that we have to, I think the town of Franklin has part of the sewer system that we have to regulate too, turn it off if it comes down. But the only way we can access it is to go behind the armory and walk down to the storage building to access the panels for that as well. So, late December over the holiday break, we had 4 different floods during that time where we had all that heavy rain at the end of the year where you couldn't access the building down there too. And I'm sure that the ball fields realized a lot of damage from that as well as all the baseball field down there, because I saw them out there scraping. And then, we took the whole fence down basically that time. There was so much debris, so much waste. Another thing that a lot of the engineer reports don't talk about, because they're probably not aware of, is the quarry is there too. And when they do a full of blast at the quarry, we fill it up to the training center up there, vibrates. And I've gone down to the burn building before, found dumps of rock lying around the building. To me, it had to have an effect on the building at some point with that pressure, constant vibrations that shots being pulled from that concrete structure too. Plus the number of fires, the heating, thermal on it, heating up, and it takes it a day or two to cool down. Heating up, cooling down, expanding and contracting over the years as well too. It causes a lot of wear and tear. Just because with the new burn buildings now, they have paginite panels that they utilize. And if you got to go to the AV Tech at Asheville, it's actually Buncombe County Transit Center. Somebody said, you see the paginite panels in there. That's what's used now to absorb the heat and protect the structures so that you can burn it much longer and extend the life of the building.
How long is the life expectancy of those buildings, Curtis?
The ones they have, they hope to get 20 years out.
These was 30 when they
They
were built.
were when they were built.
It's been doing good for 30 years.
It's been remarkable.
So it's better than what they got now.
It is, but the one thing that's increased is the number of hours that they're required to burn. That's increased over the years, and I think we were at a meeting with the Department of Insurance, and they were outlining all the hours that they have, and I believe that.
You ever been in the burn building in Orange County? You ever been in the burn building in Orange County and looked at it?
I'm not being large.
You need to go look. Ours is the Taj Mahal, like Terry said. It is the Taj Mahal compared to, and that is a huge, they got what, 21 fire departments in a 5-mile radius or something? Use it every day. Ours is the Taj Mahal. It burns, looks like a torch every day.
Is it a gas or?
No, it's just like ours is these big flambeaux, big gas tanks. Dangerous.
Travis, could you say something about the certifications? I see in your report here, North Carolina Department of Insurance recently established a requirement that in order for any fire department to receive certified credit. And what is your position? I know what it is, but what is your position?
Right now, I'm the fire rescue program coordinator in Southwest. They have changed the rules as far as firefighting goes. You know, the world's evolving along combustible materials are evolving every day, and so it's becoming a more dangerous job. It's always been an extremely dangerous job. But with that, we're losing longevity. If you think back to the old school firefighters, the life expectancy of those gentlemen weren't very great. We're trying to change from that by having some safety measures in place and better training for fire. So they came out with a new ruling, and this year they're implementing 1403 standard, which states that you have to do live training, which means everything that you want to practice or actually got to combat, you have to do in hand. So if you're going to practice cutting a hole in the roof, you have to come to our facility and actually cut a hole in a real roof. If you want to practice putting out a real fire in a building, you have to come to our facility and put out a real fire in the building. We're no longer allowed to just show them on PowerPoint, explain it, and do a mock simulation. With that being said, you have to have 2 facilities training a year per fire department per firefighter, which is a training on our burn facility. You have to have a live burn training per year. That increases the use on quite a bit from what it used to be with the number of departments that we have. We've got quite a few departments that we cover that service that area. If I can speak to building for a moment, I think something also, we talked about the flooding, we talked about debris and things coming down. Something we lose sight of sometimes is just the sheer horizontal force of water. Foot-pounds of pressure that water puts on a structure. And these things are built or designed for that vertical load, that actual loading down the structure. When we have elevated water coming up from walls, we can literally take the foundation and continue pushing on it. And so it stresses the building back and forth, much like an earthquake preparedness they do in structures in areas where large earthquakes. And so we have that water weight pushing against the wall all the time, and it lets off that building shifts back. And we're noticing a lot more degradation in buildings. We actually had part of the wall come down, and some deals that come through, saw where the wall did explode on some firefighters that were in there. Large cracks, debris falling and so on, so that is a concern as well. But as far as the training standards, it's increased to where each department, each personnel have to have 2 trainings per year on the ground facilities, so like that.
Availability of training centers. We're the only one, right, west of Asheville.
Right now, everybody's, if you want to go anywhere else to a training facility with Class A or B buildings, you have to go to the Wilson facility, which is on the ground.
And that would probably be time down the road. We couldn't just go there this weekend or anything.
And one of the problems with that is they serve such a large area there, is that if you wanted to go and take your department, you have to schedule it out. Right now, what do you think, 13, 14 weeks? Scheduling, just to get your department in up there, and then you have to factor in as well, if you want your local departments where you live to go train, you have to think about the people that are leaving your coverage area, and the resources that are leaving. So if we send, just say, Franklin, here in the middle of town, if they send half their department up there to train, that's half that department that can't cover this area if something would happen. Whereas if we got them close.
It gets to be expensive, right?
Yes,
There's
there's a lot of things.
What's the expense to use the building now? What's the expense to use the building?
Is there a usury fee? I
No.
believe we said there wasn't one the other day.
There's no expense for department buildings.
For no department?
Any department can come from anywhere and use it for free.
They're fee exempt.
The what?
They're fee exempt by statute for the volunteer fire.
So it's something you just offer for free for,
Thanks, Travis. Dr. Thomas, could you, there's two things. You mentioned the other day that there's a time frame here that we're dealing with regarding these monies. Is that correct? A time frame?
On the connected C bond money?
Yes.
No, sir. The only timeframe we referenced was the fact that the process is that our board of trustees in the minutes approved the spending of the bond monies in a certain manner. County commissioners of each county, since we're working with Jackson and Macon, they approved. Then upon those approvals, we do a 3-1 that goes to the state. And so the time process is a fairly lengthy one at that point in time, then designer fees, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the only time frame that we were referring to at that point. To spend the bond monies, they have not said it has to be spent within 3 years or a time frame at this particular point in time. There's an expectancy to do it in a timely fashion.
Okay.
Is that what you were?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When you
Yeah.
talked about the other night,
Process is-
I didn't know what kind of
Right.
time frame we were on to look at them. And I believe the Macon County, Southwestern Community College Macon County site, we have a site plan for public service center there, right?
Yes, sir, we do. The master plan that was approved by the Macon County Commissioners, I believe in 2013,
Right.
has the site plan for the master plan of public safety training and the burn building all being potentially relocated to side roads.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say thank you for letting us put this back on
Absolutely.
the agenda and listen to what we had to say. I'm sure we got a trustee meeting 28th or 26th? 26th. Some of this conversation is going to come back up. And I want to say thank you to you and your members for allowing us to have this conversation. Any kind of question?
And I misspoke a minute ago when I said your Southwest, I didn't mean Southwestern Board. I think what I was referring to, there were three options of spending. One, spend it all in Macon County. Two, spend it all in Jackson County. Three, spend it in part there and part here, which is apparently what your
Right.
board has decided to do. Then Jackson County has to say, yep, we're gonna do that. I'm assuming that being the larger amount, then that would leave the 1.425 amount for Macon County.
Those are approximated dollars based on the master planning process.
And I get that.
Yeah,
But that's the process, that's what I was referring to, not the Southwestern Board, and I said that wrong, just want to make that clear. But, and we're certainly open to that. I think what Gary's got a good point. I think I think we all recognize, we've read those same reports, we got them. Dr. Thomas, you and I and Derek met the other day and discussed those same documents. There were reports from 2012 through 2015, and I don't have those documents in front of me, but they said things about nearing the end of its useful life, and I think we all get that. I think what we need to do, as we discussed, even though it's a match, it's still a $475,000 match, which is a significant amount of tax money. So I think we need to be prudent as we go through the process, and Ms. Shields has asked us to look at it sooner than later, and I think we can do that. But what we talked about at our last meeting was possibly have an independent firm that has not been involved in it, doesn't have a dog in it, to come in, look at it fresh, and let's just ask the question point blank, hey, can we fix this place up and make it useful for 20 years? If the answer is no, then we go ahead, you know, my opinion. I mean, it'll be up to the 5-member board, but I think that's where we are. That's what I heard Gary say tonight.
And along with that, I think, me personally, I'll be looking at not so much the structure of a new building or what it may be, is the site.
Right.
That's going to be a key to my brain. This is, in my opinion, again, is not the appropriate place to have a burn building. It's in a floodplain that has a history of problems, and it's caused deterioration and those type of things.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just
Yes, sir.
one last closing comment, just for additional information from the state fire marshal. Recommendations is to move the burn building out of floodplain to avoid further degradation of that structure. So I mean, it all comes back to that question about the site and the location, and what is best in the long run to future site. You know, I think that is something we all ask ourselves about when we get to that point. When we get to that.
Understood.
Can I ask a question about the paving?
Yes, sir.
On the paving, if it is paved, will it be CDL approved? Can we do CDL testing for our local folks?
Our plan is to have it to where you operate fire trucks on, so it should meet the,
You talked to DOT about that? Or licensing bureau, have you had contact? Yeah, we tried that one time, Curtis. We went down that road one time.
How much it was gonna cost too. There's so much, they need to fix the cracks, do an overlay and then put.
Yeah.
thickness
And
on.
it's a weight
If it'll
requirement.
do the fire trucks, we can do the CDL
The
though.
only question I had was from one of the CDL instructors, truck driver instructor, was the tandem wheel turning on the track. He said right now, it's teared up. just because it's-
The way it is, they had, I think when we tried to do it before, it was a base they had to put right, Curtis, I forget exactly, a 2-inch
2
something.
inch base and then build on top of that.
Well, is that what this is?
Yes,
Okay.
should be good.
So that would be a real convenience for a lot of the folks here.
Thank you. We'll,
That's not any matching money, that's just money.
Yes.
yeah, that's straight out.
But that's also a big help.
You're more familiar with that Connect Fund, Dr. Thomas. Is that a 3-to-1 match?
25%.
On new-
If-
for
on new
renovations?
Construction. it's,
For new construction.
25%. Right. On repair and renovation, no match.
What it amounts to, the math can get funny. This is the best way, I use my fingers, it's 3-to-1.
3-to-1.
It's 25%.
Right.
So you can't get, it's not just 33%, it's 25%.
Yeah.
And
New
sometimes it's
construction.
just easier for me to use round numbers,
But that-
200,000, 500,000.
Yeah, because I researched that pretty heavy when they were, and I never found that, I found out about that last week or last board meeting, drafted by the legislature, I assume. So instead of a $5 billion, it's going to be a $7 billion tax hit.
All right, we'll,
Thank you, guys.
we'll continue discussions on it. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Consent agenda, I believe the only thing, Lori, on that's budget amendments 1 through 4. Is that correct? And you got a copy of that. Do we have a motion to approve those budget amendments?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
You skipped 11E.
What's that?
The DSS agreement.
Yeah.
We did, thank you.
Yes, sir,
Thank you.
Ryan, good shot.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Ryan, since Tate's not here.
Yes, sir.
All
Not
right.
always can be in the Bahamas, can we?
We have a, Patrick Betancourt, our DSS Director, I explained before, you have those two agreements in front of you. The first we'll call a coordination agreement, technology-enabled coordination agreement. The second, do we need to do those separately?
I think it'd be fine to present them for approval, both because they actually refer to each
Do
other.
the same thing, okay. And the second being Community Care of North Carolina Participation Agreement. And I would entertain a motion to approve those.
And to authorize Mr. Betancourt to execute those on behalf of the Macon County Department of Social Services, to sign, execute, agree, and complete, fill in the blanks, if you will.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, as liaison to the DSS, and I'd make the motion that we approve both agreements and allow Mr. Betancourt to sign to these agreements.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Ryan. Now the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the budget amendments 1 through 4 as presented to you.
So moved.
We have a motion to a second by Commissioner Shields. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Tax releases we've already taken care of. We have no appointments, Mike, to take care of.
Well, we need to straighten out a Board of Health. I messed that up last meeting. We had 3 applications for 2 positions. And just as an oversight, I made the motion that we approve all 3 applicants. Dr. Todd went on automatically as the replacement for Dr. Lenzo as the veterinary position. We had an at-large position with 2 applicants, and I need to just make a motion to place 1 applicant in that position. And speaking, and the Board of Health does not approve these. These are political appointments. But in speaking with the chairman of the Board of Health, the recommendation is to make a motion to appoint, Mrs. Futrell Gina Futrell to the vacant position on the Board of Health.
And that eliminates who, Paul?
Man, there's about 10. You want me to figure it out?
No, there was 3, and it eliminates 1.
Oh, Billy Black. Billy Black,
Billy Black is who it would take.
Dr. Todd, and
Teresa Murray was,
Gina Futrell.
Teresa Murray.
Teresa Murray was an at-large representative who was seeking reappointment.
Yes.
And then the veterinarian slot was taken care of, and that left Ms. Futrell and Ms. Black to fill the 1 remaining slot.
And the reason
Did Teresa Murray go back on?
Who?
No.
Who?
So she was not reappointed?
Teresa Murray was not technically reappointed.
Did you see? We
Yeah.
better table this thing. Let me get to the bottom
I think
of
you
it.
might.
Okay, we'll just table that, and we can take that up on the night.
Pick it up on the 19th.
But make a note of that, Mike.
Can we do that at the JC building? Can we?
We can.
It's not our meeting.
We can continue right on once.
Bob might be
others
making
have
a
left.
speech from Chicago. We don't know.
Nobody pays any attention. And if they want to run us off, we can recess it and come here.
That's true. Okay, no closed session that I'm aware of
No, sir.
needed. And I would, if there's no additional business, is there any additional business?
So you want to continue it, Mr. Chairman?
I'm going to declare a recess until Tuesday, July 19th at 6 p.m. at Franklin Memorial Park, 480
Probably needs to
West
be
Main
a
Street.
motion to recess.
We have a motion to recess.
Motion to recess, Mr.
Do we have
Chairman.
a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.